That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
And this is your first outtake. Fuck you, science.
Wow.
Oh my.
That's some bullshit.
It'd be your own
Hey,
people.
just want to say one thing. J Huff fan club.
This is how we're starting the first episode. Actually,
Yes.
we're starting it with this right here.
Matter of fact, add this into the first episode.
Yeah, this is how we're gonna start.
Yeah.
Before the intro, everything. We're starting with this part right here.
This is what happens
the
Where we
last
just-
hour, the whole last hour,
this shit on
recording
PlayStation.
a great episode that y'all are never gonna hear.
Y'all never gonna hear that shit.
I could have been watching football right now.
Could have been watching the Steelers, baby.
I'm sick.
Steelers are up 3-0.
I'm sick.
I knew this game was gonna be ugly.
All right, welcome to the inaugural episode of Make It Make Sense. It's your boy Hersh. Obviously, we got Rick in the building.
Ew.
Yes, sir.
And my boy Dave in this thing. And man, it's finally time to talk about the game that's going to end the college football season. A matchup that none of us saw coming. I know I didn't for a fact. IU versus Miami this Monday coming up. And like I said, two teams. I mean, Indiana, a lot of people were kind of saying like they're the team to beat, obviously, after taking out Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Miami, a team that I know Rick thinks that should not have been in over his lovely, glorious Notre Dame Fighting Irish. What's your guys' initial thoughts? Rick, we'll start with you, obviously, because I know this one hurts you the most.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious. It's dumb that they were here. Actually, I wouldn't say it's dumb that they were here. It's dumb that Notre Dame was not over them or was not behind them the entire season. You know what I mean? Because they beat Notre Dame, which makes sense. So with this being the case, it is what it is. It's been done for weeks now, so I've moved on. I just think it's funny that nobody's beaten IU since Notre Dame did. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. But whatever.
It's interesting. John, I know you're a Notre Dame fan, bro. What do you think?
Just want to echo the same thing. Last team to beat them was Notre Dame, but no, I think I'm less upset Miami got in because of how well they're doing. To be honest, I was definitely very upset at first, but they go on a little run. I don't think they really. I mean, they beat Ohio State, but I don't think. I mean, Ole Miss was okay. You know, like I just think about like Notre Dame could have beat all of them, but I still don't think there's a match for IU at all.
So,
but they're on a good little run.
Yeah, we'll talk more about IU in a minute, predictions. Dave, I want to talk to you, though, because I know you were talking about how much this would mean for the state of Indiana and how much this game really means to IU, obviously going from one of the worst teams ever to having so much great success over the last 2 years. I mean, kind of talk a little bit more about what you think they'll do for the state.
I mean, isn't it the theme of the 2020s? It's just you have these teams that are just not competitive at all, and then you turn around and next thing you know, they're glorified and they're all-time historical. Take the Pacers, for example. We always seem to have that stretch of getting to the big moment, but we can't finish the job. So that's where I'm looking. I'm kind of anxious to see what's going to happen on Monday. Is can we finally get a team that we can say that's actually a champion and not, oh, they participated. Like, I think as a state, we're tired of participation trophies, so it's now time for us to become that team or that state that has championship medals. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And before I move on to my next question for you, Dave, this is kind of open to everybody. Like this game for IU, like Dave has kind of said, even if they, not to get to predictions, but let's say they don't win this game, right? I mean, I still think you look at what Cignetti's done for this program, how he's turned them around, and now he's going to be there for the next 10 plus years. I mean, Rick, we talked about this before. It's crazy what a good coach can do for a program.
Bruh, it does everything, right? I mean, Notre Dame was, middle of the pack. They had some good years here and there. But then Marcus Freeman comes in and, I think he was the defensive coordinator back in early 2000 or 2010s rather. But once he really was able to take over, they are consistently at the worst 2-loss teams. You know what I mean? Never could still get there, but they're much closer than they were prior to. So yeah, and Cignetti comes in. We knew he was a good coach. We knew he came in with the swag, the Google me, all that stuff. But nobody saw this, right? This is almost one of one.
Well, and I think the thing, John, I kind of want to ask John about this too, is like you look at Cignetti, right? And obviously he's got like this swagger where he talks about Google me and things like that. But I think the thing that kind of gets me about Cignetti that makes him different is that even on the sidelines when they score, even when they're up by like 30, 40 points, like his facial expression doesn't change. It's like it's not good enough, right? It's like he's got that like Belichick thing, right? It's like he never smiles.
Yeah, I mean, he's from the coaching tree at Bama. I mean, he was at Bama with Saban. I mean, he's like just a branch off the tree, and he kind of left to do his own thing and build himself up. But I feel like he kept that same Saban mentality of it'll never be good enough. He'll smile when the job is done, or stuff like that. But he's a culture changer. I mean, I think he has a chance to be like the face of the transfer portal, like this era of college football. He has the chance to be that because you took the second worst college team organization of all time to 15-0, about to potentially. I mean, they are playing for a championship. It's just a culture setter. I mean, they're going to be good for the next couple of years just because of the transfer portal, recruiting. I mean, when's the last time IU got a 5-star anything?
Yeah. And Dave, like kind of piggyback off that, what do you think Cignetti, like even let's say he does win this, right? Like obviously he's got a long ways to go before he's even compared to the likes of like Urban Meyer and like Saban and all the other like historically great coaches. But like for him to go to a program this quick and like see immediate success, I mean, what would that do to his legacy this early?
I would even say that they do count him as an Urban Meyer or a Nick Saban because of how quick this world is now. It's like you get on social media and everybody sings high praises or super high lows, So now it's one of those things where if you do win, you're glorified. You're getting a statue built today and all of that good stuff. But if you lose, it's, well, get them next time, and then next time never comes. So I think for this is something where if you go ahead and take care of the business as the books say you should, you're an 8.5-point favorite. I mean, I think we see.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. That's a really great point, Dave. 8.5-point favorites.
Yeah,
to the away team, to the team that is from Indiana, where Miami is playing at home, and they are the underdog. I mean, what do you think that does to Miami's mentality?
Oh, it pisses them off. Absolutely. I think this is one of those games that screams trap to me if I was betting it. I think, honestly, if it keeps growing over this weekend, I think I actually will put a little something on there because it's like you're at home and you're just hearing about IU this, IU that. And I'm sure half of this team has never been to the state of Indiana. So they don't know who is coming in. They just know that they've been disrespected at home. And that's bulletin board material 100%.
Rick or John, if you guys want to add to that, because I think this is really kind of crazy where Miami is getting a chance to play at home where they've been 7-1 all season, right? But, you work your tail off to get this opportunity to play at home, then you're not even the favorite?
It's valid for sure. And you've gotten through some tough games to get to this point, which is admirable. But you were they were the 10th seed, I think, 9th, 10th seed.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the 10th seed going against a team that ran through Alabama. You know what I mean? Didn't have crazy to say that didn't have much of an issue with Ohio State in 6 of 8 quarters. Yeah, Oregon too. Damn, forgot them already because they smacked them by the end of the first quarter. Not even halftime. You know what I mean? So yeah of course you're going to get disrespected, even if it's at home. We'll start you with 2 touchdown lead. And the way IU's looking, yes, you're going to be the underdog. Sorry, Buck.
I think what I find interesting about that too, though, and because of the way the seating everything works, Miami actually has to be in the visitor locker room. They can't even be in their own locker room for the game.
That's insane.
And I think that does play a little mental of they don't think we should have been here, but here we are. So I think it's going to give a little bit of motivation, but I think it's going to give a little bit of false motivation. I'm seeing a lot of people just so excited. They kept talking about it. The Miami players, we're going back home. We're going back home. But, I mean, everything I'm seeing, it's 65-35, they think right now for IU fans is actually going to be at the game.
Yeah.
I mean, IU's traveling. And Miami's only played, 4 games, I think, out of the state of Florida this year.
Well, let's talk about this too.
So not that big. Yeah, I'll say it's not. I don't think it's that big of an advantage.
Well, I picked the news this morning or yesterday morning, and people were not batting an eye at these $1,000 seat tickets. They were like, "It is what it is, whatever."
Mhm.
This is maybe once in a lifetime, right? So yeah, they're going to travel like they traveled to Atlanta. What's another 6-7 hours? And then also, you want to talk about being at home and being revved up for that. Mendoza going to the crib. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Cool. He's going to be locked in.
Yeah. And like let's go ahead and start getting into that. Like, let's go ahead and give our predictions and then, talk about, like, for example, like, John, if you want to go first, what do you think the prediction is going to be and who's going to be this like top performer for that team?
I'm going to say same thing kind of been saying for a while. It's going to be like 35-17 IU. I don't think it'll be close. I think IU is just too good on all three levels, special teams included, and we saw that in the Oregon game. Almost scored on all three levels. I think Carson Beck's going to have like 2 picks. He's going to try and force some stuff and be under pressure, and I just don't think it'll be great. And I think for IU, it's going to be the same balanced attack. I can't even tell you who's going to win. I mean, they have running backs who both score or both rush for 100 yards a game. Mendoza has more touchdowns and incompletions. I mean, their O-line won. Their center won the Rose Bowl MVP. Like they are that dominant. It's scary.
Yeah, when you have like players like Hemby, you got Black, you got Martin. I mean, they got a 3-headed attack at that running game, which makes IU deadly now. I don't. Rick, if you want to go ahead and give your prediction as well and what you think.
For sure, yeah. Kind of similar, right? I think it's going to be somewhat similar to what we've seen so far from IU. They're not going to be able to be stopped, especially in that first half. I think Miami will adjust in the second half, but it's probably going to be a little too late. I got a score of like 35-24, 27-ish, right? But the score is going to look a lot closer than it is. I think we'll get into the fourth quarter, and IU will already have that 35-ish points. Miami will maybe have 7, 10, 14, whatever, and they'll cut the gap a little bit, but it's going to be a little too late.
Yeah, Dave, you want to go and go?
I'll take what John said and just internalize it even more. If I'm a competitor and I can't get my own locker, somebody else's ass is in my seat, I'm playing pissed off. I'll say my heart is definitely with the Hoosiers. I mean, I'm born here, raised here, live here. My heart is with them, but I can't take away from the fact that they don't even get their home locker. So give me Miami. They're going to hang around like a lion on a gazelle, and they're going to make it a very convincing game late. 42-38 Miami.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. I'm definitely thinking it's going to be Miami that's going to take this one. The only reason I say that is because of physicality they've been playing with on both sides of the ball. Malachi Toney, Fletcher, their other running back. I mean, they got Carson Beck, who's been playing really great. We all joke about Carson, but he's been playing at an all-time high. And on top of that, that drive that he had to help win that, to score that touchdown to get Miami into that game, because that game with Ole Miss was a shootout. And for him to come out on top, I think it's going to be something similar to that. But yeah, I think I'm taking Miami. I'm going to go 45, 36 or 37 as well. It's going to be close. It's going to be close, but I'm going high-scoring game for sure on both sides, and I think Miami's going to kind of pull away towards the end.
I was going to say, just really quick before we switch gears, I'm not also too convinced that we won't get a shootout at all. I think, honestly, you might see this time off hurt both teams, and we might get a 14-17 game or a 20-24 game, something like that. So that honestly, to me, screams Miami as well.
What's the over-under on points, do you know?
47.5.
Yep.
And that started as a 48.5. So that tells you right there, the books are thinking that the time off is hurting.
Yeah, I agree. If it's going to be a close game, it's going to be low scoring. I don't think
it's going to be a close
shootout.
game. Give me the physicality. Don't give me
that already giving 47.5. I'm already changing my answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and 28, 15, 14, 15, something crazy.
Well, it's already locked in, so you can't change it. Well, we're going to go ahead and switch gears now and transition on to the NFL. A lot to take away. Let's go ahead and start with the most recent news that broke. And I'm actually not surprised by this move, but the New York Giants now have a head coach in John Harbaugh. So I am very interested to see how this is going to work out. He's got a great base in Jackson Dart. He's got Malik Neighbors. He's got Cam Scatterbo, who's going to be coming back next year. I don't think this is a bad place for him to land. I am kind of I think we're all shocked the fact that he ended up leaving Baltimore, but I just think that this is probably a good place for him to land.
I'll go ahead and start on this one because this is something that's been kind of on my mind all day. It's that, yes, the ending definitely was more sour than the beginning was. I mean, that's still a Super Bowl winning coach. That's still a program builder. That's still somebody that you highly respect. I mean, not everybody gets to coach Ray Lewis and then, continue on for another 10, 15 years. But now it's like you're in a division that's less competitive, I would think, because you got the Eagles who's trying to figure it out with the A.J. Brown situation. You have the Commanders that are just, they had a good year, but can they keep it sustainable? And then you have the Cowboys.
They're the Cowboys.
Yeah, they're the Cowboys. So
yeah.
I think this is honestly one of the hand in glove fits right here.
I think it made the most sense, right? I think Harbaugh left a situation that, although he could not be as successful in as we thought he would, as he wanted to, of course, he goes to almost, obviously not as good of a team on paper, but a very similar situation if done right. You know what I mean? No, I don't think any other team has this well of a foundation already in place. You know what I mean? And if you can come in and be that stable force that they're looking for in a head coach to put the rest of the pieces around, I think the NFC East is the Giants to take quickly.
Yeah. John, how do you like the signing?
I think I'm against everybody else. I don't like it. I think it's time for John Harbaugh to go play with the grandkids, be pop.
You don't think he should coach anymore?
That's crazy.
No, I look around the league and I just see nothing but young, innovative coaches. I see teams that we didn't expect to be good because of coaching. The Bears, for instance, stuff like that. Like, I mean, Harbaugh hasn't won in what, 18 years?
12, 13
like
years.
12, 13 years? Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And you have a two-time MVP. You have Derrick Henry, You've had good defenses. You've had all this, and hasn't translated to anything. And I just don't see. I understand it's kind of use like the Signetti thing. He is a culture person, but it's a little different in the NFL where you can't just get 30 players to come play for you all of a sudden. And I was like, I think he'll be good for development, but I don't see long-term sustainment coming from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just really a matter of if they really think Jackson Dart is the guy that they kind of build around. I think that's going to be the most interesting thing to see what happens. I mean, he had some bright moments throughout the season before the injuries happened, but I think it's kind of interesting because let's talk about the team he left for a moment, Harbaugh, that is. I mean, you look at that whole division, the only person there still was Taylor up in
Zach
Cincinnati.
Taylor,
Yeah, so the Browns are looking for a coach. The Steelers are looking for a coach with Tomlin stepping down. And then obviously now the Ravens. I think it's going to be kind of interesting. I think I agree with you, John. I think this is where we're going to start to see the league kind of like go into this mode where they're not going to be bringing back these guys. Like Mike McDaniels, I don't think he gets another job. Like Raheem Morris, don't think he gets another job. If not, not a head coaching job, maybe some defensive work. But I just don't see a lot of these guys becoming head coaches. I think you're right. I think this is where we see a lot of DCs, young OCs, hell, even passing coordinators are getting interviews for positions, a head coaching job. So there's definitely a lot of young talent. And I think that's the great thing about the NFL is that, we talk about player development. Let's talk about coaching development because a lot of these teams, a lot of these guys have these people on staff for years that kind of get these opportunities. And then when they become the OC, they're like, well, where the hell did this guy come from? Well, he's been the passing coordinator for the last 2 years. One person, I know he doesn't get talked about much anymore with the Colts is Jim Bob Cooter. He did a great job with what he did in Jacksonville. Has not really been able to replicate that here or with the Colts, but we can talk about that another time. My point is, you're right. I think this is where we start to see the league go younger and kind of change things around a little bit. But really, that's the only coaching thing that's kind of really happened, Rick, I think here within the last week.
Yeah, I think so. I was going to add to John's original point, because I agree. I don't think these older coaches who've been around for a while and not been able to have more than just one title or so success are going to be able to get another job. I really think, to your point of, getting these young coordinators or young passing coordinators and stuff, head coaching jobs, it seems like they're starting to get away from these, like, if you want to call it culture fits or Hersh, we play a lot of college football. The CEO, right? I'm here to oversee everything, and I'll get the new hot OC, DC to do the actual work almost, right? You're starting to move away from them because, you need to be able to do something. Like, you have to actually bring something to the table, right?
A lot of head coaches are actually like calling plays now.
Exactly.
Which is kind of funny because I feel like what's the freaking point of an OC if you're just going to oversee the offensive call and everything everywhere? Shame.
Well, and the issue too is lately you've seen these coaches fire their OC because if you don't, then you're gonna get fired and the OC gonna keep getting promoted. So you're like, no,
Exactly.
I'm gonna do this, because then either you get fired and the OC moves up, or you have a scapegoat by firing the OC first, right? So that gives you a little bit more leeway time. But yeah, you got these two. Mike McCarthy hasn't gotten a new job yet. Andy Reid, until he retires, he's going to be fine. I mean, his reign just ended, maybe, right? We'll see what Pat looks like when he comes back. But those are really it. That's really left of these old, like, I'm here to oversee everything. Bill got out the game. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And let's kind of like transition a little bit before we get to actual predictions and everything. I want to talk first about a point that John made earlier about what a good coach can do. Rick, obviously the Bears with a big comeback win against the Packers. Let's kind of talk about kind of like the Miami situation, or kind of like the IU situation, a team that was really not competitive, not good. I think like with Caleb and Ben Johnson now, this combo that they built with Ryan Poole as the GM in Chicago, they've done a great job. Rick, kind of talk about what Ben Johnson means, like this culture, this good, better, best. I mean, all the things that he does that's changed Chicago around completely.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's as much as we kind of just, I don't want to say shout on Harbaugh for like culture isn't the thing. You need to be able to do something. I mean, Ben does both. Ben brings the culture, but he also brings a hell of an offense, right? We've seen for the last however many years in Detroit. And he's literally brought that to Chicago. He literally came and effectively replicated to a different extent what he had in Detroit that was successful. The two running backs, the thunder and lightning kind of style for Monangai and Swift, Swift was in Detroit, right? You got the big tight end, you got the super tall receiver, and then the short one on the other side who's able to be a little crafty. The strong offensive line, of course. The only difference is you got a young quarterback. Well, I guess back when they traded for him, he was still young. Goff was young and whatnot. So yeah, you got the young quarterback who's developing and growing in your system. So this is literally Detroit all over again, except now he's in charge. So he's bringing that fire. I don't really know if we saw this personality in Detroit like that, but we damn sure get it now. Like, he was my guy when he first came in the press conference. Like, his first word was, look, fuck the Packers off jump. And I was like, yeah, that's my guy right there. That's my guy immediately.
Yeah. Let's talk about that handshake between him and Matt LaFleur like after the game was over. Like, it's obvious. Like, it's obvious that those two like don't like each other. And I think that's what kind of adds to like what made that win so great is that it was against the Packers, right? I mean, when you get to beat your rival at home in a way like that, coming back from 18, I mean, that's got to give you some sort of swagger moving forward. And John and Dave, if you guys want to add anything about the Bears before we kind of move on to predictions. But, I mean, dude, Caleb, I hate to say it, there's sometimes when you watch Caleb play and you go, what the hell are you doing? Or like, John, you used to play quarterback. This man would roll to his left and throw across his body. The one that he threw to Luther Bolden across his body for that first down on that last drive. Most NFL quarterbacks would not make that throw, but Caleb has kind of like, and I'm not trying to get your head inflated here, Rick, but he's kind of got like sometimes those Mahomes, mannerisms where,
and I don't want to say
sidearms and things like that, where he gets crafty and he finds these angles.
I think the first part will be because he has Ben Johnson. I think when you have that that Mahomes, when you have that ability, with the old Rodgers used to make crazy stuff like that. When you have a coach that says, hey, do it. If you think you can make the throw, do it. And I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. And you'll see, like, into the game, I mean, yeah, rolling to your left, just flipping your hips real quick, trying to throw it back shoulder, like, and throwing an absolute dime. I mean, how many quarterbacks are actually going to attempt that in a game, let alone, like, because they're too worried about throwing a pick. They're too worried about, and who knows if the DBs were even expecting it. Like, that's why a lot of that stuff can fly. But, I mean, yeah, he's a winner. Or he's going to do whatever he can to win. Maybe he might throw a game away sometimes, but we've seen it all year. Fourth quarter comes and you got Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers all combined in one.
It's insane when you see it happen. I mean, Dave, let's talk about, like, we've talked about Caleb for a moment, but, like, people around him, DJ Moore, Colston Loveland, who's kind of, like, grown. Like, he had an okay season, but this whole season he has been amazing. He's been a big target for Caleb. But, like, talk about all those young guys, like Rome's coming back.
I think that is absolutely the case. I think you take a good mix of talent and then you try to develop that talent. But it's in the world where everybody has ADHD is how long will this be sustainable? And I think for that, I will say that this is a good indicator of what the next season and a half would be, because you always know that we got about a good season, and then the next half of that second year is just where everything is like, yo, what happened? So I definitely think they have a good mix of people there. I want to say that for Caleb's success, I think this is nothing that we haven't seen this. Like we've seen him in USC, we've seen him and how he developed there with Lincoln Riley, and we knew that he was going to be special. But I mean, my God, some of these throws that he's making, it's like the throw to DJ Moore when he had that game winner against the Packers in the regular season. It's like, who does that? Like in that environment at that time, who does this? And it's like, you got to be a cold-blooded person to even attempt something like that. So I'm rooting for him because a win for Chicago is a win for me because I'm going to Chicago.
And I think the thing about real quick before we move on to playoff predictions and everything, I think what's kind of great about Ben Johnson is that his play calling, where he kind of sees into the future. I watched a video where somebody was breaking down the film, and the play that the game-winning touchdown pass to DJ Moore was the same formation, same personnel, same look as a screen pass that they threw in the first quarter. Ben Johnson said, we're going to come right back to it, because that entire game, Ben Johnson was outside routes, get the ball to your fastest guys and let them get out and get upfield. And what the Packers defense was starting to realize was like, okay, once we see that look, we know it's going to be a quick hitter, right? But for Ben and Caleb too, because it has to be a great pass with that safety over top, right? But when you got a combination of those two that are playing like this, when you can come back from an 18-point deficit, it makes you dangerous. And I think that's a good transition into, let's talk about, where we're at now with the playoffs. And I think we're at a very big point now to where it's weird that there's no Mahomes, right? And I think a lot of people are actually kind of happy the Chiefs aren't in it, but we'll go ahead right into it. That way we've already been talking about the Bears versus Rams. It's going to be cold as hell. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be windy. Matthew Stafford, I believe, was 1-8 in games under, 30 degrees or 20-something? I think it's like 30 degrees. He's like 1-8. This guy does not play well in Chicago. Sean McVay has not won in Chicago the last, I think, 3 or 4 times he's been there. So Chicago's a place where Sean McVay really struggles. And this is the type of weather where, Rick, this is playoff Bears football weather with negative temperatures and stuff, right? So, Rick, go ahead and give me your prediction. Do you think the Bears can keep it going, keep this Sean McVay winless streak going in Chicago?
As we know, this is our second time doing this.
The episode that was ever.
Yeah. So when we did this the first time, it was before we knew what the weather was going to be like, and I just was unsure. I was still rolling on the high of the game, but I still was unsure. Now that I know what Matt Stafford and company have to go into, let's go Bears, man. We rolling with the Bears. because
By
that's
the way,
like you said, it's tough. It's
we
tough.
don't want to leave a cliffhanger. It's going to be a high of 19 degrees. So,
And that's but they don't include wind chill.
they don't
them.
include wind chill. That doesn't include what the grass is actually going to feel like.
If you've never been to Soldier Field, let me tell you, it is right on the water. It is cold. You are going to feel every single bit of it. But those Bears fans are so loyal that they're going to be out there having a good time. And I guarantee you, we're going to see at least one person shirtless.
To give you some context here, if you're in the Midwest or the East or wherever you're listening, you're sitting next to a cold window. Just touch that cold window and just imagine that for 3 hours.
And if you're in a warm place, go to your freezer, put a whole bunch of ice in your
Put
pants,
your hand flat in
and then and then put the fan on it. That's how it's gonna be in Chicago.
Boy. Dave and John, you guys want to give your prediction for this game?
Yeah,
I think I think the Bears are going to win. I don't think it'll be high scoring. I don't think like Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams are going to have these like huge games. I mean, I don't care. They can be great receivers, but when it's cold like that, it just does something to the ball, your hands. I just think Chicago is going to win that one.
Once again, my head says the Bears, but my heart, man, I love a good storyline. Wouldn't that just be perfect? If we had the Rams versus Seahawks where Cooper Kupp gets his revenge. But no, my head says Bears. I don't think there's a case where we have a Puka Nacua nuclear game. I think everybody gets contained. I think the Bears play with high emotion. And I think we get to see snow falling off the top of the Bear Stadium because there's an earthquake. So, I think from start to finish, it's going to be ugly. Bears by 7.
The Rams are 3.5-point favorites as of right now.
Sure.
And I think the Rams cover that. I think the cold is it's a thing, but I think we also have to realize that like the Bears don't play in the cold every week. They don't practice in the cold.
They got to play with true.
They practice inside. They practice in the warm weather.
Yeah, but I bet you Ben Johnson's got them practicing. They practice outside all this week.
Yeah, they're practicing outside this week.
That's what's up.
But I think it just comes down to when it comes to the cold, it's all about who's a bigger dog, who's got it in them. And the Rams have been there. The Rams have done it. Matthew Stafford's done it.
The defense is depleted, though. The defense is depleted right now, though.
I mean,
not the same defense. Not the same defense.
I know the weather will be a factor, but I just think that the Rams are just too seasoned, too good. Rams are a little early. I mean, let's be honest. They should have lost to the Packers. And the Packers defense
I'm going
is depleted.
to say, I want to add one more thing before we move on to the next game. I think this is what's going to be the game changer is the fact that it is going to be cold. But when you add in the run game of Monangai and Swift, they're going to continually pound the Rams.
The Rams can do that too with Kyron and Blake Corum.
And no. But I'm saying like it's going to be a matter of which defense is going to be able to make a stop when it's going to happen because like getting hit or hitting somebody when it's that cold, it hurts. Like it hurts. Like it hurts both people.
Let's say
you got Aaron Donald there no more.
Let's say who's going to be the bigger dog in the fight? Who's going to have that dog mentality? That's what's going to come out of it.
Just really quick to support John's statement, the line did actually come down, so we lost a point, but here's the kicker. We lost 3 points on the total, so it opened up at 51.5, and we're at 48.5. I mean, it's a dogfight. And then if you go look at the player props, when I gamble, I like to use this as just supplemental data because it's something that it really sticks to me. They have the rushing yards. Blake Corum is set at 42.5. That's up a little bit from last week, and then Kyron is set 57.5. And then on the flip side, you got Monangai at 35.5 and DeAndre Swift at 52.5. So to me, that just screams that they're going to rely on it, but I don't think they're going to be in it that much. I really do think that we're going to get an ugly game no matter what. I just want to, like John said, who's the bigger dog? Who got the bigger bite?
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next NFC matchup. It's a interdivisional matchup between the 49ers and Seahawks. The 49ers are going back to Seattle. The weather's going to be beautiful up in Seattle. It's going to be in the 50s. So it's going to be a beautiful game up here in the Pacific Northwest. I just think right now with Sam Darnold being listed as, questionable with an oblique injury, that came out today. So I'm going to give it to the 49ers because if Darnold's playing hurt or not playing at 100%, I'm going Brock Purdy and the 49ers. They just look hot. I know they lost Kittle, but Purdy's playing out of his mind. McCaffrey looks, great, healthy. Juwan Jennings doing his thing. If they can get Ricky Parcel back, that'll be nice. But I just think, right now, the 49ers are probably one of the hottest teams in the NFC as well.
I'll support that. Every time that Kyle, I lost his name. My goodness. Sorry, I had a brain fart on live air. It's crazy. Thank you, Kyle Shanahan. Appreciate you. Anytime he's been in the playoffs, he's been to the Super Bowl. So I don't go away from that. It's just when you're proving, you're proving. And I think the Niners, they took that embarrassing loss from the Seahawks the last go around. And once again, bulletin board material. You just don't forget about 13-3, especially after they just came off of that Bears game where they put up like 50,000 points. So I think that they definitely right that ship as far as the Seahawks, and then they go ahead and go to Chicago.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. 49ers going back to Chicago after the game they had that came down so close. Literally a last-second play could have changed that narrative. John and Rick, if you guys want to chime in on what you think between the 49ers and Seahawks.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know. I really don't know. I've been going back and forth all week. I think the Seahawks are a better team on paper and have been all year. But to get to like Dave's point, like it's the playoffs. Shanahan does this. The 49ers have done that. Purdy's been there. And what has Sam Darnold done? He's a career resurgence right now. 2 years back to back. Didn't have such a great game last year in the playoffs,
and if he's hurt, he's not going to be playing 100% either. So
yeah, but it's not like he really moves anyway.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the sense of like you probably going to need him at 100% if you plan on beating, because it's going to come down to can you keep up with the scoring of the Niners, and I think like the atmosphere in Seattle is going to be electric and it's going to be loud and it's going to be rowdy. But I just don't think that's not going to phase Purdy and them because they literally just went to Philly and took care of business in Philly. So that's going to be interesting. I kind of agree in the sense of Sam Darnold is having a great season, rejuvenating his career, but is it going to be enough to beat the Niners?
I don't know. That he doesn't have to do that much. That defense is probably one of the best defenses in the last 5 years. Let's be completely honest. Like
it's not the Legion of Boom, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have to do too much. Especially the 49ers so depleted, they can just run the ball, run the clock, like hold possession. They have a kicker that is probably one of the best kickers in the league. I think he set the record for most points this year or most field goals, something of that sort. Like it'll come down to the last minute of the game.
Yeah,
I think
either team.
One key thing here is, do you really expect Christian McCaffrey in a playoff game to only rush for 23 yards like he did back when they played him last time?
I feel like he's done that all year, though. CMC has not ran a lot this year. He's a receiver cosplaying a running back at this point.
Absolutely. For sure. He's definitely a unicorn, but I just –
and then get touches, though.
You're losing George Kittle, and then you got too many guys that have been around each other, so – I think they play for their brothers and they get it. But like you said, John, you can really flip a coin with this one, man. It's
Rick,
tough,
what do you think?
The silence is him contemplating, by the
way. He's flipping a coin in his head about 50 times right now.
It's tough.
Who would you rather play?
I'd absolutely rather play the 49ers because they'd be at home. The Bears would be at home, and they were one play from beating them. So, I would rather the 49ers win, but it's if I think they will. And giving, all the stuff that you guys have said, it's still a crapshoot. But I do think the 49ers make the more compelling argument of how well they've been playing over the last few months, right? They are definitely going to be charged up trying to get their get back for sure.
Yep.
Purdy, as much as I don't really like him, I feel like he looks like a 25 years younger John Harbaugh, does he not? Anyways, think about it. I definitely think he gets, he takes control of this game though, and they find a way to win. Like you said, Darnold gets iffy in the playoffs, and he is a little hurt. So yeah, I think the 49ers find a way to pull this off, and they've got to come see us.
Can anybody convince me that the Seahawks are not just the Vikings from last year?
They got the same quarterback.
They are. Yeah.
Same quarterback, same defense,
top defense. Yeah.
same top receiver. Like,
They
can
got
you
better
not convince me that
they
they're
got-
not just purple for neon green? Like, we just traded. That's all we did.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the AFC side. We're going to start with the Texans and the Patriots.
Yes.
That's going to be a great game. I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen. John, you spoke on it last week or earlier on the episode that we didn't get to record. But, you talk about that Texans defense. I mean, they're going to be going up against a very high-powered Patriots team that's playing with a lot of swagger. They got a guy back in there that knows the culture, knows what they want, and Mike Vrabel. So what do you see? I mean, Vrabel knows this Texans team after coaching in Tennessee for quite some time. So, what do you think about this? And do you think the Texans can go to Foxborough and get a win?
I do. I'm also a Patriot hater, but I'm not going to let that be biased.
That's all right. All of us are.
I think the same thing I kind of feel about the Seahawks is how I feel about the Texans. Like, that defense is number 2 best defense in the league, and it's not even close. That D line is insane, and I think Drake May has obviously an MVP candidate this year. Has he played some lackluster competition all year? Yeah. And he didn't do so well last week against the Chargers. He should have lost that game. Let's be honest. You put up 9 points through 3 quarters.
I'm a piggyback on that.
But the problem is Stroud didn't look any better. So I think it's an ugly game. I think it's a low-scoring game. I didn't check the weather of that game, but obviously, the Northeast gets really cold too. But I think it'll just be another 16-13 kind of game, and I think the Texans win. Fairbairn kicks a game-winning field goal.
To your point, Drake May had to put on his Superman cape against the Los Angeles Chargers. Am I reading it right? He had to throw 29 times and rush for 10. So you're telling me he had the ball for 40 plays, and I don't see a world in which D'Amico Ryans doesn't put on tape and say, "Hey, make this guy hold the ball." I don't see a world where Drake May has that. I mean, to me, he's the MVP. I mean, obviously, I think Stafford might get it, but I don't see a world where Drake May has the ball 30, 40 times and that's going to win. You can't put up 16 points against this Texans team. We just saw them what they did to the Steelers. Yeah, it's the Steelers.
Right.
We don't, but it's an NFL team. Like, you just don't tell me that. Give me Texans by 1 million.
Rick?
Everything that you said makes so much sense, especially with that defense. My only issue is
Patriots.
right. The Patriots, they can score against anybody, it seems like. And the other big factor, about every 3 or 4 games or so, CJ and company act like they've never picked up a football before, and it's about due. You know what I mean?
That was last week.
Oh, that was last week.
4 fumbles.
I did forget about that. Honestly, I knew the Steelers weren't going to be able to score at all. They just don't.
Yeah.
They just don't play offense. Like Aaron is washed. And DK is too busy worrying about fans and punching people. Like, so I knew they weren't going to score. I knew they were always going to win that game. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if what offense the Texans are going to dish out and how much they can actually hold the Patriots from scoring. So we'll see.
One thing I want to say real quick about that game too is kind of go back to Bill Belichick, his era there. I know Vrabel was there.
Mm-hmm.
When Bill Belichick had his lockdown corners, he always said, "I put my lockdown corner on your number 2, and I double team your number 1." Nico Collins is out. They already ruled him out for the game, and the Texans have been able to spread the ball around. They've had, Christian Kirk, Stephen A. Smith, shout out, go for 140 yards. And then, you had Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel. You got all these players that, who's Christian Gonzalez going to stick on? Who's he going to follow? Is he going to follow anybody? Are they going to play a basic Tampa cover 2? I think he's still playing, but.
Is he?
Yeah, I think with that, it's like I think that actually helps the Texans because it opens up their offense more, knowing that they don't have to worry about Christian Gonzalez following one person or staying on one side or anything like that. It sounds crazy saying losing your best receiver helps your team, but I think it does in this game alone.
When is this game played, actually?
So this game is on. This is going to be Sunday at 3:00 Eastern time. So that'll be an interesting game. Let's go ahead and move on to the last one here. Broncos, Bills. I think this is going to probably be one of the most exciting games of this round of playoff football right now. I'm taking the Bills to upset the Broncos. I think Josh Allen is just kind of playing with this, the swagger. But also, I think, when you look at this team, the Broncos have always kind of had, Mahomes and the Chiefs in his way. But I think if he can topple, and we'll talk about Super Bowl predictions next week, but if they do win this game, I think no matter who comes out on the other side of the AFC, I think the Bills take care of them. But they got to beat Denver in Denver. So I'm going to say it's going to be a close game, but I somehow think Josh Allen is able to pull out one of those game-winning drives that we've seen. Like we saw last week, we're going to see it again this week. I think the Bills find a way to win in Denver. Rick, you want to go off that?
So follow me here. So Aaron Rodgers is the last quarterback of that old era, right? Of our era, the Peytons, Toms, all of them. Then we had that newer era of Josh Allen, Lamar, them, right? Middle teens, 2000 teens. Now they're not old by any means. They're our age. They're 30, if that. But they're almost starting to be the unks of the league. You know what I mean? They up there. Up there. So I see this game as Josh Allen should win this game. But if he does not, I feel like we're at that threshold. Like everybody said, this is his year. Nobody else is in it. This is his year, right?
Yep.
I see Bo Nix as being the Josh Allen of this new age, right? He's big. He's old as shit. But he's big. For only being in the league, 2 or 3 years, he's old.
2 years and he's 38.
Yeah, right. But nonetheless, I feel like if there's a comparison of him to anybody, the closest is him. But this could be his ascension to potentially that next tier. I don't think he's elite by any means, but this could be that game for him. But it shouldn't be because the Bills should win this game. Not easily, but they should find a way to win this game. So I'm going Bills. All that to say, I'm going Bills.
I think it's going to come down to Sean Payton versus Josh Allen. I think it's just all about coaching for the Broncos and why they're just so good this year. Defense, offense. I don't see Bo Nix playing like a Super Bowl MVP kind of player. He just plays the offense and does it well. But if any, like we just said, if any year for it to happen, it's got to be this year for Josh Allen. And even for his life, it's a story. I mean, he just got married, he's having a kid. This is your year. You get the Super Bowl, you at least get there. That's your storybook year. And I just feel like he has to. I think he knows that. I think the team knows that. James Cook is playing phenomenal. And I've been seeing them lean the ball a lot more on James Cook toward the end of the year versus what they kind of did in the middle where they kind of got away from him a little bit. And they're just going to ride Josh Allen and James Cook until they get a win.
We've been talking about Josh Allen so much, we forgot the root cause of this problem. If the Bills do not win this game, this is not an indictment on Josh Allen. This is an indictment on one Sean McDermott. Has it never occurred to anybody that, these starters are on Josh Allen, he couldn't get the job done? Meanwhile, Sean McDermott just sits there with his little beard and just takes no blame whatsoever. This is not an indictment on Josh Allen. Actually, I don't even think Josh Allen has a good game. But GM, I think that Buffalo has a culture of, we embrace our people. We hire people and pay them $20 to go shovel and do all. Damn all that. Go get you a win. This is a statement victory right here. This is something that if you cannot figure out how to get over the hump with no Mahomes, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow, no whatever, Sean McDermott, you gotta go bye-bye, bro. You don't get another job after this. This is one of those things where you have to be so convincing that you have to leave a statement. Like, you have to leave a sour taste. Like, yeah, the Buffalo Bills are here. I don't want to hear no more about the 90s. That's 30, 35 years ago. This is a Sean McDermott masterclass. It has to be nothing more, nothing less. He has to perform at an A+ level.
And Hersh, before we let you go, we got to think about two more things on this exact topic. One, he's been there so long that, remember when Brian Daboll was our offensive coordinator and he was playing, coaching so well? He had a whole stint of being the Giants coach. Got fired last season. Again, was that earlier this year? That was earlier this year, but got fired, right? But that was 3 years ago. So you've been there this long, and you were his offensive coordinator for 2 years before that, right? So you've been here a long time to not succeed, and for all the blame, to Dave's point, to go on Josh Allen.
I don't want to see the Broncos do anything. The Broncos are young and talented. We get it. But I don't think Sean Payton is the coach to get them there. This is a Sean McDermott masterclass. I don't want to hear shit else. Excuse my language. I don't want to hear shit else.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be the best one of the weekend for sure. But, yeah, that's it for this episode. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you guys hang out for the next episode where we're going to be talking about a little bit of baseball and basketball. But thank you for tuning in to our football inaugural episode of Make It Make
Wayne
Sense.
Jones, we love you, Auntie.